Hello guys, welcome back. So let's start with a new topic, that is radial nerve injury, ulnar nerve injury and median nerve injury. Okay, so for starting first with the radial nerve injury. Now radial nerve injury is divided on the basis of the position of damage. Okay, but you have to remember the one symptom which is very common in all types of radial nerve injury is wrist drop. So write down, wrist drop is the main injury. Okay, so let's know about different types of radial nerve injury which are based on the position of damage. Okay, so on the basis of position of damage, it is divided into three injuries. Okay, at first, if there's a damage at the axilla, so write down at axilla, we call it as crunch paralysis. What do we call it as? Crunch paralysis. Now what do you see over here? You will see wrist drop. As I said, it is the main injury of radial nerve. Second thing you will see, there will be extension of elbow damage. So that means extension of elbow won't be carried out in that person. The third thing which you will observe over here is that the sensation of the dorsum of the hand. Dorsum means what? Back part of your hand will be affected. So sensation of dorsum, dorsal, or you can write back part of hand is affected. Okay, now let's look at the another position. At axilla we have done. Now if there's an injury at the spiral or the radial groove of humerus, so if you remember, we have done this, that radial nerve will pass through this groove. That's why it is also known as radial groove, right? Spiral groove or radial groove of humerus. Okay, so this is termed as Saturday night palsy. Saturday night palsy. So let's again look at the observations in this one. So no problem with elbow extension in this case. Wrist drop will be present once again. Wrist drop is common in all, as I've said before also. Okay, and here sensation is affected. The same points, only have to remember that elbow extension is possible in this Saturday night palsy. Now the third injury, third position is damage below the elbow. So if radial nerve is damaged below your elbow, then what will happen in this case is only sensory function is affected. Only sensory function is damaged. Okay, that you have to remember. And this is the picture of how a wrist drop looks like. Okay, so this is a wrist drop. No need to draw this picture, this was for you to understand, right? Now let's move on with the ulnar nerve injury. For ulnar nerve injury, do you remember the root value for the ulnar nerve? We have done it in the brachial plexus. It is C8T1, right? Now let's look at its injury. The first is claw hand. And this claw hand will happen due to damage to third and fourth lumbricals. Now let's look at what does it mean. You can see in this very first picture, right? This person has this claw hand appearance. You can see this is the first finger, second, third, fourth and fifth. So fourth and fifth finger lumbricals is affected, giving it a claw hand appearance. Okay, so this indicates that this person has ulnar nerve injury. Okay, the second is Froment's test, or you can also call it as book test. Okay, in this what happens is adductor pollicis muscle is weakened. Okay, so adductor pollicis muscle weakens. This will lead to no adduction of our thumb. As you can see in this second picture, here this is a normal thumb. This what you are looking at, this is the normal thumb. But here you see this elevation right in the thumb. This indicates ulnar nerve injury. What it indicates? Ulnar nerve injury. So this test is known as Froment's test, or it is also called as book test, because we give a book for a person to hold. Okay. The third test is called as card test. What it is? Card test. Okay, here we make a person hold a card between his fingers. But what happens here in case of injury, that there is paralysis of interosseous muscle. So we had two interosseous muscle, right? Dorsalis interosseous and palmaris interosseous. So here, adduction and abduction both is absent. Adduction and abduction absent. Do you remember who was doing adduction? Adduction was done by palmaris interosseous, right? So write down that also, by palmaris interosseous, and abduction was by dorsalis interosseous. Okay, we learned it by the mnemonic PAD and DAB, right? D for dorsalis, AB stands for abduction. Similarly, P for palmaris and AD will stand for adduction. So here you can see in this picture that the patient is given a card to hold within the fingers. So if there is ulnar injury, then this person won't be able to hold the card and the card will fall off. Otherwise, normal people can hold the card very easily between their fingers. Okay. So now let's move on with the median nerve injuries. Median nerve passes through carpal tunnel, if you remember. We have done it in the recent video, right? So median nerve injury will lead to carpal tunnel syndrome. So write down median nerve injury leads to carpal tunnel syndrome. Okay. Now this can happen for a reason. For example, if lunate bone dislocates. When we were doing carpal bones, I told you lunate is the most dislocating bone among the carpal bones, right? So if lunate dislocates by an accident or somehow, so this affects the median nerve which passes through the carpal tunnel, thus giving you carpal tunnel syndrome. Okay. The second median nerve injury could be Ape's thumb. We also call this as Ape's hand. Okay. Here you must know what is damaged. Here the first three thenar muscles are damaged. First three thenar muscles. Now thenar muscles, do you remember at which place they were present? T for thenar, T for thumb. So present at thumb. So thenar muscles damaged, as you can see in this picture. Okay, thumb-sided hand. Here this thenar eminence is affected. This portion which you see, this is called as thenar eminence. Okay, so this is affected in case if there is median nerve injury, giving an Ape's thumb or Ape's hand. Now thenar muscle, you might remember that there was one muscle among the thenar group that was adductor pollicis. This adductor pollicis works efficiently even if there's a median nerve injury. Do you remember the reason why? Because it was not renovated by median nerve and it was innervated by ulnar nerve. So write down, important note, that adductor pollicis is not damaged as it is innervated by ulnar nerve. Okay, so write down this point and remember it. Okay, the third type is pointing index. What happens is, these people with median nerve injury, when we tell them to close their hands or intertwine their fingers, they aren't able to flex their index finger. So as you can see in this picture, the patient has flexed all his finger into the wrist, but its index finger is still pointing. This index finger, because here he has median nerve injury, which doesn't allow this index finger to flex. So there is damage of FDS, flexor digitorum superficialis, and lateral part of FDP, that is flexor digitorum profundus. Okay, and what happens here is, you must know, pointing index finger does not flex. Okay, and remains pointed. You can write this point in explanation. Okay, so I hope everything is clear with the help of these pictures. Don't worry about them. You don't have to draw them. Just understand how it looks like. Okay, so all the injuries, nerve injuries are done now. Thank you.